तं देवमात्मबुद्धिप्रकाशं मुमुक्षुर्वै शरणमहं प्रपद्ये। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्मविद्या संप्रदाय कर्तृभ्यो वंश ऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः। सर्वोपप्लवरहितः प्रज्ञानघनः प्रत्यगर्थो ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि। ॐ वेदान्तार्थविभासकाय गुरवे शान्ताय सन्न्यासिने नानावादीनगेन्द्रसङ्घपवये योगीन्द्रवन्द्याय च मोहध्वान्तदिवाकराय भगवत्पादाभिधाम् बिभ्रते तस्मै भाष्यकृते नमोऽस्तु सततम् पूर्णाय बोधात्मने। We can have three sections categorically made of the Vedas. And these three sections are made by using the parameter of the content, Vishaya, the subject matter. And hence, we will have three different kandas, three sections. The first section, just giving instructions about the karma, what is ought to be done, what needs to be done, what should be done. When Veda says do this, it means it is that action will generate punyam. It will generate certain punyam, a virtue, because of which ahika sukham or paralaukika sukham can be attained in this world, in this life, or its result could be seen in some other life, in some other world, heaven, etc. So now that section which deals with karma is called as karma kanda. Kanda means a section. So karma kanda. Don't go by the word, by the common parlance as we colloquially use. Kanda means some sort of, a scandal or something. So people have this. Then, or fraud generally is, people use that word fraud when they want to say kand. Somebody has done a fraud with money matters. Paise ka kand kiya. So that fellow has not that. Kand means this section. Then upasana kand, which means certain meditations. Just as we have the actions which are physically done, because the body is the equipment with which the action is accomplished. So also we have speech and the mind. Whenever the action is accomplished, and so by the very virtue that it is an action, it will have a sense of doership, a will, and also it will be centered on some sort of desire. Okay. Therefore, there are these upasanas, some form of meditations, and by that meditation meaning it will be an action performed by the mind. Mind also is another equipment, or by even by the speech. Speech also will be involved. Japa, for example, doing japa. Hmm. And then finally, this section of knowledge. Knowledge is not centered on will. It is not centered on will. We will see the details of it when we study or when we analyze the nature of knowledge in forthcoming classes. So now we have these three sections of the Veda. One dealing with karma, one dealing with meditations, upasana, and then finally, now that meditation also would mean involvement of certain attitude. Okay. And then finally, knowledge. Knowing the any object as the object is, then is called as knowledge. If you know it in any other way, it will be distorted. Distorted knowledge is not knowledge. Distorted knowledge is always a misunderstanding. For example, to know the rope as rope is knowledge, but to know the rope as snake is distortion. And therefore, that is in fact what? It is misunderstanding the rope. So knowing the rope as snake, so whatever that object is, and if that object is rope, then knowing the object, rope as rope, will be knowledge. But knowing it otherwise in any other form other than rope is ignorance extended. Okay. So therefore, finally, knowledge. What that deals with, what is the nature of Atma, what is the nature of Paramatma. And thus by knowing that Atma, knowing Paramatma, what happens is moksha prapti. There is the fourth purushartha will be accomplished. So thus we have these three sections of the Veda. Now, Bhagavad Gita, so being Kanda Trayatmika, it means that because it is Bhagavad Gita is, we can consider it as a kind of a commentary on the Veda. So the gist of Veda is brought to us by Bhagavad Gita without any dilution, without any distortion, and therefore Bhagavad Gita is also Vedatmika. But because the Vedas have these three sections, so also we should be able to see all these three topics, subjects dealt by Bhagavad Gita. And this is there. And he now, Madhusudan Saraswati says, we will show you how. Karmopasti tatha jnanam iti kanda trayam kramat tadrupashtadashadhyayaihi Gita kanda trayatmika. Bhagavad Gita is also kanda trayatmika, of the very nature of these three sections. Okay, and what are those sections? The section of karma called as karma kanda, the section of upasana called as the upasana kanda, and the section of knowledge called as the jnana kanda. Ekamekena shatkena kandam matropalakshayed karmanishtha jnananishtha kathite prathamantayo. Now, if we divide Bhagavad Gita, which is all 18 chapters, in three equal, what do they call? Three equal parts, we will have each part consisting of 6 chapters. So now that part of 6 chapter, we can call it as Shataka, an hexad. So ekamekena shatkena. Now these three are dealing with the three respectively. Okay, how? Let us see. Karmanishtha, Jnananishtha, Kathite, Prathamantayoho. In the first hexad, in the first collection of the 6 chapters, we can say is Karma Kanda. Bhagavad Gita spells out Karma Kanda. Jnanan or Karmanishtha. Then in the last collection of the 6 chapters, it is Anta, the final one. It is Jnana Nishtha. Yata Samuchayo Nasti, because karma and jnana cannot be mixed up. In karma, the doership is at the center. That I am the doer and I am doing the karma. This idea remains at the center. Whereas in the knowledge, knowing that Atma is Brahman, which means is free from doership and is free from experiencership, this is what is the nature of the self. And therefore, how are you going to mix both of these together? Samuchaya, their samuchaya is not going to be possible. Okay. Yata samuchayo nasti tayorati virodhataha, because there is ati virodha. It is extremely totally opposed to each other. Karma and jnanam is totally opposite. Bhagavad bhakti nishtatu madhyame parikirtita. But in the middle section, we find Bhagavad Bhakti, devotion to the Lord as its subject matter. Madhyame parikirtita. And something very unique about Bhakti, or unique about this devotion to the Lord, is Ubhayanugata. This Bhakti can be found in karma, as well as it can be it is anugata. It is present even in knowledge. Another feature of bhakti is sarva vignaponodini, that it removes all the obstacles, whether even when it comes to the karma or when it comes to the knowledge. Bhakti will remove the obstacles or the pratibandhas. Sarva vigna apanodini, karma mishra cha shuddha cha jnana mishra cha satritha. Even this bhakti is also threefold. Karma mishra, mixed up with karma. So when we are dealing with the world, and now our understanding is that this entire world is the form of the Lord. Paramatma himself is in the form of all these men and women, animals and birds. Everything is Paramatma alone. Now, when your understanding allows you to see Paramatma in the entire creation, the entire world. Now there can be only one relationship with God, and that relationship is of devotion. So now our relationship with the world changes from being an upabhokta, somebody who wants to exploit the world, somebody who wants to squeeze the world in order to derive pleasure, to the attitude of somebody now who wants to serve and love. Because this is the only relation that is possible with God, the relationship of a devotee, of devotion. And this is how, what do you do? How do you serve this? If there is a pot of plant sitting in your balcony, watering the plant is karma, but also watering it with the attitude that I am serving the God in this form now transforms. So now the karma mishra over here, it is karma, but it is infused. It is infused with devotion. Therefore, it is karma mishra. Then there is shuddha, devotion in its pure form. And then finally, jnana mishra. Now devotion transforms into devotion which is of the nature of knowledge. Okay. Jnana mishra cha satridha. Thus we have bhakti, which is threefold. One is karma mishra, shuddha means in its pure form, and jnana mishra, it is infused with knowledge. तत्र तु प्रथमे काण्डे कर्म तत्यागवर्त्मना त्वं पदार्थो विशुद्धात्मा सोपपत्तिर्निरूप्यते. In the first kand, in the first section of Bhagavad Gita, now you understand what is the first section, Karma Kand. It is what do they say? Corresponding to the three sections of the Veda. Tatra tu prathame kande tatyaga vartmana. Now, when karma is being told by the Veda, do this, there is a very interesting thing about it. Actually, it finally culminates in what? Karma tyaga. It culminates in karma tyaga. Whatever karma is now being advised, do this. It means not to do anything other than that. And doing anything other than that is definitely the result of one's own desires. So now when it is said, do not kill, or something like that, so it means that you are refraining from hurting in 99 cases. Okay, so over there, karma kande tat tyaga vartmana. What is the path? It is actually, when you see, it is the karma, the path of karma. It is refraining oneself from falling into the path of adharma. So it is what? Karma tyaga, actually speaking. So karma kande, karma tat tyaga vartmana. Karma is told, but it follows what path? Karma tyaga vartmana. Vartma means the path. By that path, okay, karma tat tyaga vartmana. No, going by that path, what is it that is revealed through this karma kanda? No, At this point, a very interesting thing that we have to note is that the entire teaching can be condensed in just one sentence. The entire bulk of the Veda can be condensed in one sentence. And that one sentence is also consisting only of 3 words. This sentence of the 3 words is called as Mahavakyam, the great statement. It is so when we say a great statement or Mahavakyam, it does not mean that the sentence is running into many pages. It simply means that the meaning conveyed by that sentence is supreme. And because the meaning is supreme, here we say this is not an ordinary sentence. How is it? It reveals the supreme, and hence this Vakyam is the great statement. Okay, it is the great statement, hence Mahavakyam. So in this Mahavakya, we have these 3 words, Tat, Tvam, and Asi. So the sentence is Tatvamasi. Tat means that, Tvam means you, and Asi is are. You are that. So in this sentence, what is revealed is that this nature of the self is Brahman. This Atma is Brahman. Ordinarily, nothing will be able to tell you that Atma is Brahman, show you Atma is Brahman, because everything will come into final thing as I am this little ego, this little individual, this small limited entity. What is revealed is Atma is Brahman, is complete, is Purnam. Now, in this sentence too, in order to grasp the meaning of the sentence, we will have to first cognize the meaning of the words, because words are able to establish a relationship with each other in a sentence, and that sentence has its own meaning to deliver. So the words deliver their own meaning, but when the words come together and become a sentence, the sentence is able to tell you something more than what the words have told. Okay. I think in other class or the same class, we have discussed this, but here it goes. Here I'm going to tell you a sentence. For example, the sentence is Ramaha Vanam Gacchati, a common thing. Rama goes to forest. Supposing you know the meaning of word Rama, Dashratha's son, Ram. You also understand the meaning of word forest and also of the Kriya Pada goes. Gacchati. The verb Gacchati. You understand that. Now you know Ram, you understand what is going, you know what is forest, but you did not know that Rama goes to forest. So what is it that allowed you to know Rama goes to forest? It is the meaning that is delivered by the sentence, by the statement, and therefore the statement is able to give you something which is unique only to the sentence. But in order to cognize, to understand the meaning of the statement, we require the meaning of the words to be registered first. And then when the sentence comes, you will have a new meaning, something which was unknown to you before becomes known. Okay, so something which was unknown, anadhigata, abadhita, will be known now. So here, in that sentence, Tatvamasi, we have these three words, tat, tvam, and asi. The meaning of these words have to be ascertained first, then the meaning of this sentence, and then we will verify whether this meaning of the sentence that is ascertained now, how valid is that. Okay, so now so the whole process of knowledge is understanding just that sentence, that one statement. So here we say, Tvam padartho vishuddhatma sopapattir nirupyate. Upapatti means a logical derivation to arrive at the meaning, to arrive at the a certain meaning of the word through what? Through logic. Okay, so through logic, proper steps of logic. Sopapatti here. Tvam padartho vishuddhatma. Tvam, when one says the word you, what is the cognition over here? When someone says to you, you, it means I. And in this word I, for us presently, what all things? I, a conscious being. But I am a man, I am a woman, I am happy, and I'm sad. 100 and I am the doer, I am the experiencer. Everything seems to be sitting only in this meaning of the word I. And then we begin our journey from here in trying to understand the meaning of word I. We arrive where that the meaning of I is pure consciousness, Shuddha Chaitanyam. This is the final now understanding of the word Tvam. You. What is it? Shuddha Chaitanyam, pure consciousness. Then Vishuddhatma Sopapattir Nirupyate. This is what is accomplished by the first section of Bhagavad Gita. Then Tvitiye Bhagavad Bhakti Nishtha Varnana Vartmana Bhagavan Paramanandaha Tatpadartho Vadharyate. In this second section of Bhagavad Gita, section now, you understand what is section over here? The second hexad. The second hexad. From chapter 1 to 6, the first hexad, 7 to 12, the second hexad, 13 to 18, the third hexad. So in the second hexad, Bhagavad Bhakti Nishtha. Now, what is revealed, what is shown over there is by the path of devotion to God, the meaning of the word Tat, Paramatma, God, is revealed. Okay, and what is that final understanding about God that you come to see? That God means pure existence, consciousness, and that infinite joy. Even if you don't keep the word joy over there, Paramananda, he says, that's why I'm saying that. But it means that what is not limited. That what is not limited by time, by space, by any attributes, by any conditions. That is Paramatma. Not limited by any conditions, by any ideas, by any concepts, is Paramatma. So that what is Anantam is Parameshwara. Avadharyate, this is what is Avadharyate, is clearly understood. But how do we arrive at this understanding? We move through the path of devotion. Dvitiye Bhagavad Bhakti Nishtha Varnana Vartmana. This is the Vartma. This is the path. Bhagavad Bhakti Nishtha. Tritiye tu tayoraikyam Vakyartho Varanyate Sphutam. Now, in the third section, finally we come to the understanding of the meaning of what you have arrived at, the meaning of I and the meaning of word the Tat. God is one and the same. So Jiva Brahma Ikya is that oneness. Oneness means not that, like, you mix up two things. It is actually one only, in understanding that it is truly one. This oneness is now established. Vakyartho varanyate sputam. This is the final meaning of that sentence, and that's so it is revealed very clearly in the final section. Evamapyatra kandanam sambandhosti parasparam. So also now you understand that why the karma kanda, upasana kanda, and jnana kanda, they are also interrelated, because through karma kanda the Veda wants you to arrive at the understanding of Tvam. Through Upasana Kanda, the Veda wants to show you what is Tat Padartha. And then finally, through the Jnana Kanda, oneness of that of the Tvam and Tat. Pratyadhyayam visheshastu tatra tatraiva vakshate mukti sadhana parvedam shastrarthatvena kathyate nishkama karmanushtanam tyagat kamya nishiddhayoho tatrapi paramo dharmo japastutyadikam harehe. Now, though in every chapter has its own subject matter, but the common theme which flows through all the chapters is in revealing Atma is Brahman. This is what is the common theme that runs through all the 18 chapters. Now, Nishkama Karmanushtanam Tyagat Kamya Nishiddhayoho. How that in order to do the karma, how to do the karma? Nishkama Karmanushtanam, a committed practice of karma. Karma everybody does. Though everybody does karma, karma means some form of action, yet we find that our actions are sullied with our ambitions, desires, etc. And even when we follow the righteous course of action, that action very often is meant only for fulfillment of desires. Then he says, in the first section over here, we are being told about Nishkama Karmanusthana, how to do the karma without getting sullied, without getting soiled. And what is that stain which sullies is only the desires. So Nishkama Karmanushtanam, to do the karma without the saint of desires. Nishkam, kam is anushtanam, tyagat. And how will that be achieved? By giving up, first of all, what is to be given up? Nishiddha karma, that what is prohibited. That what is prohibited has to be given up. And then even giving up what the karma which is simply meant to fulfill personal ambitions and desires, etc. Tyagat kamya nishiddhayoho tatrapi paramo dharmaha japastutyadikam hare. Hare of Hari, of Paramatma. What? tatrapi paramaho dharmaha. Now, what is thus following the dharma, the righteous lifestyle, then what is the highest form of righteousness in which the actions are meant only as your offering, as your worship of God, every action. And therefore, japa, stuti, etc. Stuti means hymns, praise, praising the God, japa, etc. of Hari is there. Kshina papasya chittasya viveke yogyata. But sir, why should we even do so much? Then it is said, Kshina papasya chittasya. So now that heart, that mind in which the papa, the impressions of the past karmas, wrong deeds, etc., what happens? Kshina papaha has become extremely weak. Now, therefore, these desires, etc., will not have grip over the mind. And then viveke yogyata mata yada. Now one develops the ability to discriminate, to see things clearly without distorting, to see them clearly, to discriminate. Viveka. Nitya nitya vivekastu jayate sudridastatha. Thus from here arises the first form of viveka, which is useful now, uh, which is now what? Nitya anitya. What is permanent? What is impermanent? What is permanent and what is impermanent? What is changeless and what is constantly changing? Nitya and anitya vastu vivekaha jayate. And though it is born in, we are still able to understand the world of all names and forms is anitya, is impermanent. Yet this understanding is not able to create any transformation in us. It is not able to create any transformation in us. Why? Because this viveka is easily ignored, subdued. It gets clouded. And therefore, what do we require? Viveka, which is sudrudha, which means which is well established, well rooted, strong enough not to be uprooted by circumstances and situations. We require that kind of viveka. And when will it be there? Kshina papasya, only when the mind has become sufficiently pure. What has rendered that mind pure? Nishkama karmanusthana, along with the devotion to God, has made the mind capable of now seeing things clearly. Iha mutrartha vairagyam vashikarabhidam kramat tatah shamadhi sampatya sanyaso nishtito bhaver. Iha mutrartha vairagyam. Now one does not see the happiness invested in objects of this world or objects of some celestial world. When you are able to see this thing very clearly, what is Vashikara Vairagyam? Where did you hear this word Vashikara Vairagyam? Then what is the definition there? Drishtanushravika Vishaya Vitrishnasya Vashikara Samshya Vairagyam. So Vashikara Vairagyam means where now one does not feel restless or does not have any more longing, thirst for objects of this world or any other world. You know, some years back when they caught that terrorist Ajmal Kasab, and because he did those, one of the most horrific and cruel terrorist attacks, and somehow uh, he was caught. And then when questioned, he said that by doing this, I will go to heaven and enjoy whatever are their pleasures over there. Now you see, not only that people are motivated by objects of this world, we find there are people who may be even motivated, who wanting to enjoy some celestial pleasures. And so there are these people, but not to feel. When one has overcome the longing for the objects of this world or of the other world, here we are going to say this vairagyam, this maturity is vashikara vairagyam, kramat. And how is it? Gradually, sequentially, it comes. Tata shamadhi sampatya. Thus, now the person gets certain, his, there is a great psychological transformation, and that transformation is that this person now has shama means pacification of the mind is peaceful, the conflicts have gone, the mind is peaceful, the person does not feel conflict with the world outside, or he does not even internalize any conflicts, and therefore he is shant. And such a person is desired by all. But this is shama, dhamma. So dhamma means pacification of the indriyas. So now that person has finally become qualified to follow the path of knowledge. Evam sarva parityagan mumuksha chayate dridha. Though we all have mumuksha, this mumuksha means desire for liberation. But this desire for liberation is extremely feeble in our cases. It is bleak. It can easily, it can easily be what do they say? Subdued by other ambitions and desires and things like that. But now this mumuksha has become independent. It is no longer chained. It is no longer, it can be pushed down. Sarva parityagan mumuksha jayate dridha. This mumuksha now becomes strong. Tato guru pasadanam upadesha grahastataha. Then after, now look at this point. At this point, the guru comes into the picture. Okay, now over here. Why go to the guru? Oh no, I like, because everybody wants to have a guru. I should also have a guru. A guru. When there is mumuksha, then going to the guru is fruitful. But having a guru in your life, somebody whom you can trust, and somebody whom you can trust to 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 pull your ears when you go wrong, or when you can possibly go wrong. We need somebody like that, because this, oh, we don't require guru, that is just what a proclamation of some extreme vanity, extreme egoism. That means that this person is ready to say that I know everything and I can never go wrong. And even if I go wrong, I don't want anybody ever to tell me that I am wrong. That is arrogance. That is not independence, because over a period of time, through last few decades, this idea that we don't need guru is what comes. I remember Maharaj's one statement. Somebody asked Maharajji, Swami Akhandanandji Maharaj, that Maharajji, do we require guru? Guru karna chahiye kya? Maharajji said that, are you so unfortunate And are you so abandoned that there is nobody ever to tell you that you have made a mistake or where to change? What is wrong? This means that the person is not even ready to admit that, that I have ignorance. And therefore, Guru Upasadanam, in general, one should have some guide, some spiritual guide. But the real role of the Guru comes into picture when mumuksha is strong. When mumuksha means muktumicha. It is desire for liberation. Ichha, it is ichha, but for what? Muktum, to be liberated, is strong. Okay. Guru upasadanam upadesha grahastata. Then the person now, in all humility, goes to the teacher and says, Sir, please tell me what is the nature of the self? What is this Brahman? Knowing God, it is said, Brahma vidapnoti param. He who knows this God becomes free from misery completely. And now I want to be free. I don't want misery in other forms. Okay? So now there's Guru Upadesha, Graha. Graha means acceptance. Now he is ready to accept. He becomes the appropriate recipient of the instruction from the Guru. Then after, now this is the whole map of our spiritual journey that is being drawn over here. Tata sandeha hanaya vedanta shravanadikam sarvamuttaramimamsa shastramatropayujyate. Now, in order to eradicate every doubt about what Brahman is, what is this Paramatma, we have the process of Shravanam. Shravanam means just not listening to the Upanishads. Listening is one part, but through listening, one will be, when one arrives at the conclusive understanding, then it is called as Shravanam. Because technically, the definition of Shravanam is Tatparya Nishchayaha. It is not some spiritual romanticism. It is not romanticism where one feels, Shravanam means that you listen very intently to the teacher with all your heart. Hey, that is all nice. Let us not create a poetry. Technically, it is simply what? Conclusive tatparya nirnayaha, tatparya nishchayaha. And for what do you require tatparya nishchay? Wherever there is certainty, there is no doubt. Wherever there is certainty of knowledge, there is no doubt. Okay? Tatas, therefore, sandeha hanaya, in order to remove all doubts, what is the sadhanam? Shravana. Shravanam of what? Vedanta Shravanam. Arriving at the conclusive understanding of Vedanta, of the Upanishad Bhagavad Gita. And therefore, Sarvamuttara Mimamsa Shastramatra the entire bulk of Vedanta, of Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Sutra, the Prakarana Granthas, Vada Granthas, finally they come to this. For what? Tatparya Nishchaya. Tatas paripakta Tatastat paripakena nididhyasana nishtata yoga shastram tu sampurnam upakshinam bhavediha. And then as a result of that, when the Shravanam now has arrived at its Pakvavastha, Pakva means it is ripened, one is well prepared now. Nididhyasana nishtha. Here, it comes to a person being absorbed in meditation. Now, over there, just don't, think that the person should be, what do they call, uh, is seen all the time only in closing the eyes. Well, that is there, which is also true. And so the Yoga Shastra, Yoga Shastra exhausts itself in saying how will one prepare the mind to for this stage. Yoga Shastram tu sampurnam upakshinam bhaved iha. Now finally, when one finds that he is absorbed in, hey, in that knowledge now over there in Nididhyasanam, now Yoga Shastra has given what it had to deliver. Kshina doshe tatashchitte vakya tattvamatir bhaved sakshatkaro nirvikalpaha shabdadeva upajayate. Kshina doshe tatashchitte, in that chitta, in that mind, where all the defects are removed, have been overcome. In Durga Saptashati, there is a very beautiful verse in praise of the mother, Durga. What does it say? What is that? What is that? The one which we have written inside. One is Durga Smitaharasi Priti Mashesha Jantu, and then inside. Over there, the Vidya goddess Durga is called as Vidya, knowledge. And how is she? She dawns in the heart of those yogis from whose heart all the defects are now removed, have gone away. Ya mukti heturavicintya mahavratatvam abhyasya se sunyatendriya tattvasaraihi mokshartibhirmunibhirasta samasta doshaihi vidyasi sa bhagavati paramahi devi. If you want this mother to arrive in the heart, the first thing to be done is Ya Mukti Hetu. When she arrives, what happens? Becomes the very cause of liberation. She is the very cause of liberation. Ya Mukti Hetu. Whatever that Hetu of Mukti is, whatever the cause of that Mukti is, of liberation is you. Who? You, Devi. Then Divine Mother, she is the very cause of liberation. Ya Mukti Hetu Avichintya Mahavratatvam, and is of the nature of Mahavrata. She is Mahavrata. Vrata means a spiritual discipline. And this is not an ordinary discipline that only on Mondays I will be vegetarian kind of a. It is also a discipline, but those who cannot at least follow something like that. And when our life is not, we do not have any principles, disciplines to follow in life, how we will be scattered all over and everywhere and without any direction. Please understand, a person will be then like a rudderless ship. न घाट का, न घर का, न घाट का. There won't be any direction. So this person will be lost in life. Have some discipline, whatever that discipline is. Now, for example, now all of you are here. And if this is going to be our committed practice, that come what may, we are going to complete the study of Bhagavad Gita. Now it becomes one discipline. This is one, let us have some discipline. But we are talking about that vrata. How is that vrata? Mahavratatvam. Oh mother, how are you? You are Mahavrata, not ordinary thing. The commitment is Mahavratatvam. Abhyasyase sunyatendriya tattvasaraihi. Now, and you are being followed by whom? So like, there is mother, and the child will generally follow his mother everywhere in the whole house. No sooner the child is able to, he learns to walk or crawl. And now this fellow goes about chasing his mother everywhere. Like that, who you are the mother, but who follows you? Abhyasyase sunyatendriya tattvasaraihi. By those people who are tattvasar, who are able to extract the tattvam, the very essence of life. Now who do not get lost in the non-essentials. कि उनका चित्त बेकार की चीजों में नहीं जाता. तो उनके चित्त में क्या है? जो सारभूत वस्तु है, तत्व है, उसको ग्रहण कर. They are able to extract the very essence of life and thus follow that. So these are the people now who follow you. Abhyasyase sunyatendriya. And so also there is another virtue with them. Sunyatendriya. Their indriyas are niyata, which means their organs of action and organs of perception. Everything is now not going wild, but is mastered. They have mastered the organs. Sunyatendriya tattvasaraihi moksharthibhir munibhihi asta samasta doshaihi. Look at that. Munibhihi. These are not ordinary people, but they are extremely contemplative in nature. They are contemplative. They are not superficial swimmers, but now they are able to move to the depths, and therefore sunyatendriya tattvasaraihi munibhihi. They are muni, contemplative, meditative. They have a penetrating understanding. Now their understanding is able to reach, touch the truth. So through every experience, now with every experience, they are able to move closer to Paramatma, to Satyam. So therefore they are Munihi. And these are the Munis. So these are the people, or mother, who follow you. Asta, this is the word which I wanted to bring to you. Asta samasta doshaihi. Dosha means effects. What can be called as a defect? Anything which is going to take you away from reaching your destination is going to be whatever that becomes an impediment. whatever becomes an impediment to your destination now is a defect. All these defects have have are submerged, are gone. Okay, what has happened? Astam, asta samasta. Samasta means all. Asta samasta doshai. Dosha is defects. Astam is to immerse, to go, are removed. Samasta, all the defects. What has happened to that? Astaha, they have gone. And such are the people who follow you. Asta samasta doshai vidyasi sa bhagavati paramahi devi. And thus, O mother, you are that Parama Devi. You are that extremely illuminous one. Vidya, as in the form of knowledge. So now, over here, we have seen that Shina Doshe Tatashchitte Vakyam Vakyat Tatvam Tatva Virbhavet. That this Tattva, the principle, the reality now shines forth in their heart. Avirbhavet, it manifests through what? Through this Vakyam, through that statement. Which statement? Tattvamasi. It comes to those who are such people, Kshina Dosha, in whom the doshas, the defects, have become feeble. Okay? Not like the mumuksha, which is feeble in our case, but mumuksha is strong, the doshas have gone, and therefore now that knowledge will shine forth in their heart. These are the great sages. Okay, now let us see how. So, beginning from the Gita, Bhagavad Gita, as the not personification, what will we say? As the reflection of the Vedas, Bhagavad Gita is also Kandatrayatmika. The three Kandas are Karma Kanda, Upasana Kanda, and Jnana Kanda. Over here in Bhagavad Gita, we have three hexads. The first is dealing with Karma Kanda, the second with Upasana Kanda, and the final one with Jnana Kanda. In the Veda itself, the Karma Kanda, through that process of karma, allows you to understand, to come to the point where one can appreciate, one can see the meaning of word Tvam. Then through Upasana Kanda, which is the section of devotion, one will arrive at the meaning of Tat, which means God. And finally, through the third one, Aikyam, the oneness of Jiva and Brahma is revealed. And this is what is the content of Bhagavad Gita 2, meant for people who have overcome all the impediments to the knowledge through karma, upasana, and the knowledge, finally. Okay, so this is what it is. Let us meet for further discussion in our next class. Thank you. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnaat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashyakrito Vande Bhagavanto Punah Punah ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेद विभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः. Thank you all.